Thanks for joining us for another edition of Prime Flash on My Media Prime Television with me, Audrey. Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanga-Nji has called on SDOs and DOs to carry out visits to ensure the effective resumption of classes in schools and asked teachers to have confidence in the government. In a press release, Paul Atanga-Nji demands that the SDOs and DOs should reinforce the information of the educational community and the population in general in their respective units of command on the measures taken by President Paul Biya to respond to the concerns expressed by teachers to raise awareness amongst parents of pupils on the risk of instrumentalization of their children by what he termed irresponsible political and civil society actors whom, according to him, seek to destabilize Republican institutions. Despite government's efforts to put an end to teacher strikes on primary schools were yesterday spotted full with children sleeping throughout, according to information gathered, the children have been told by their teachers still on strike to use the moment to sleep and relax as no lessons will be given. In some schools in Bafoussam, west region of the country, some students were left on their own as teachers continue expressing their grievances, calling on the state for the application of a special status. Let's have this excerpt of a teacher in GBHS Toket.
Proceeding with civil disobedience. The head of state has listened to the teachers and has come out with measures. But when you look at what is happening, the measures are not sufficient. The teachers for long have been crying and calling on the state for the application of the special status. We expected that as a father who loves everyone in this nation, he should go ahead and ask for the application of this special status. For we know that it was signed for 22 years ago, but the application is still pending. So that is all. We also want that when people go out for their missions, like the GC and whatever, they should not come and wait for a whole year before they are being paid. That payment should be done, an automatic advancement, and the financial effect of it comes immediately. Not that we have papers in our hands, and when we take these papers to Yaoundé, they'll be asking us to give percentages. These are the type of things we decry as a group, as teachers.
Let's ride on with this excerpt of the principal of GBHS Ngwache in Bafoussam still talking on the teacher strike.
Our school, you know that we are on Monday, and during the weekend or before the weekend, we have important measure coming from our state, signed by the deputy, the general secretary of the President of the Republic, giving to the teacher many advantages according to their strike. And among those advantages, you know that their salary will be complete. You know that they were taking 2/3 of their salary, and then the decision now is that they will have the whole salary completely. Then this decision give the smile to our teachers, and then many of them are happy for this decision, are waiting for the application of this decision. I know that the salary will be out by the end of the month, and then they will see in their salary what have increased and what is the real incoming of their salary. You know, every day we have meetings every day, 2 or 3 meetings every day, to explain to our teacher that they have reason for what they are asking, but they should take care of the student. They should continue to do their duty constantly. They should be present effectively in school. So if the money comes by the end of the month and you have not worked, it will be the explanation that you are working, you are not doing your work, and the state is giving you your salary. So this is what we agree with our teacher here. So while waiting for the end of the month, we have to take care of our students by teaching them effectively. And every day we have a acidity paper where we are taking all those who are really in the class. So by the end of the day, we can have the situation of who was there, who was not there. So by doing that, we have the control of our school.
And the Minister of Labour and Social Security has threatened to suspend the salaries of teachers who fail to report to their classrooms. Catherine Ekongwe has details.
Despite government efforts to solve teachers' problems, such as the creation of a separate room to treat teachers' files at the Minfopra, the disbursement of 2.7 billion to pay teachers who marked the June 2020-2021 official exams organized by the Baccalaureate Board, teachers are not still relenting, as teachers of Japoma High School this morning were seen with messages of protest on placards. While the government is working to appease teachers, many continue to express their grievances in solidarity with the death of their colleague Hamidu, who had gone for 10 years without payments. As teachers push on with their strike actions, the Minister of Labour and Social Security, Gregoire Owona, has threatened to suspend the salaries of teachers who failed to go back to their classrooms. Barely 24 hours after his decision to suspend teachers, those in the basic education sector this morning joined their peers to protest as primary school teachers of Government Primary School Bonamusadi Douala have earlier today suspended lectures protesting against poor working conditions and non-integration into public service. Teachers have been striking for the payment of their salaries for over 4 weeks now and are not giving up.
On to something else, some opposition political parties in the National Assembly and members of a parliamentary group called a Union for Change have vowed to defend the interests of the people of Cameroon in the National Assembly, work for social justice and equal opportunities, defend and promote economic patriotism, fight against injustice, and be on the side of the vulnerable and underprivileged, ensure the positive influence of Cameroon in the world, legislative and control government action in the supreme interest of the Cameroonian people. The information is contained in this declaration signed by Honorable Joshua Osi of SDF, Honorable Cabral Libi of the CPNR, Honorable Kupit Adamu of CDU, Pierre Kwemo of USM, and the other members of the parliamentary group on March 11, 2022. Hookahs or water pipes, popularly known as shisha, seems to be gaining grounds in Cameroon, has been banned in or by the Cameroonian government, and orders signed recently. Let's have details in the following report. The marketing and consumption of this water pipe, popularly known as shisha and mostly used in snack bars, is now prohibited on the national territory. The decision of the Cameroonian government to place a ban on its commercialization and consumption in the country comes after a ministerial deliberation spearheaded by Public Health Minister Dr. Manauda Malachi, where it was concluded that the content is toxic to the human system. The Minister of Territorial Administration, through an order signed on March 7, instructed the administrative authorities to initiate appropriate actions to fight against this drug. Going by some Cameroonian reactions on Twitter following the announcement, shisha is one of the major means most snack bars in the country make money. Some have even argued that the country has more pressing issues rather than the ban on shisha, which is less harmful than cigarette. In a shisha, tobacco is burnt using charcoal. The smoke passes through a water-filled bowl and leaves through a hose. By inhaling at one end of the hose, a vacuum is produced that makes smoke pass through the water to the smoker. There are two common misconceptions about shisha smoking.
The first being that it is less harmful than cigarette, as the smoke is believed to be cleansed while passing through water, and the second being that it is less addictive than cigarettes. But both assertions seem wrong, as recently the World Health Organization in an advisory note to regulators revealed that shisha smokers inhale large quantities of harmful particles and are at risk of the same diseases as cigarette smokers, including a variety of cancers. The World Health Organization insisted that during a single session of shisha, one can inhale several times more nicotine, carbon monoxide, and cancer-causing chemicals than a single cigarette. The said decree therefore officially puts an end to the use of shisha, especially among Cameroonian youths.
And still talking about health, Public Health Minister Dr. Manauda Malachi has called on the follow-up of pregnant women to reduce maternal mortality and morbidity, improve or strengthen laboratory equipment to carry out hemoglobin electrophoresis tests. He made the call on March 14 during his visit at the Kolofata District Hospital in the far north region of the country. A visit aimed at examining the working conditions of the medical staff in the area, as well as the quality of health care provided to the population of the Mayo-Sava division in general. Out of the country, the Republic of Chad has reportedly handed over the leader of an anti-Balaka armed group, Maxime Mokom, to the International Criminal Court on suspicion of war crimes and crimes against humanity. The Hague Court confirmed the handing over of the suspect on Monday, March 14. He is suspected of war crimes against humanity allegedly committed in Bangui and other locations in Central African Republic in 2013 and 2014. The country was plunged into its worst crisis since independence after a long-time Christian leader François Bozize was ousted by rebels from the Seleka force in March 2013, triggering a wave of violence with anti-Balaka militias. That was it for today's edition of Prime Flash, produced by Junior Pelama. Thanks for watching, faithful viewers. You have details of these stories and many more on our 3:30 p.m. Prime Info with Gladys Bomotongina and 6:30 p.m. Prime News with Fon Quinter. Coming up next is In the House with Eileen Sama and her ladies. Have a nice time.
Are you in a relationship and you have issues with your partner because they are not romantic? How do we handle a partner who is not romantic?
For you to handle a partner who is not romantic, you have to begin by being romantic yourself.
You know, the guy who is not romantic is certainly not in love.
Il y a des partenaires qui ne sont carrément pas romantiques.
Being romantic is the vibe, is what keeps the love, you know.